People tout Taiwan as the first Asian country to legalize same-sex marriage. But to say it achieved marriage equality for all isn't quite true. Why? The bill for same-sex marriage was signed into law in 2019, which meant that same-sex couples could finally register their marriage like any other couple. But having its own special law means that in Taiwan, there's marriage, and then there's same-sex marriage.
我跟你下跪好吗？我拜托你了，我拜托你成全我们跨国伴侣。
On the surface, they are the same, but this was both separate and unequal.
So the same-sex marriage and heterosexual marriage have very different rights.
While reporting on the Rainy Pride Parade last year, I talked to Zhang Zhuqing from the Taiwan 同志 Hotline Association, or Taiwan LGBTQ+ Hotline. A group of activists started the association in 1998 after a series of LGBTQ teen suicides shocked Taiwan. The hotline has been part of the fight for full marriage equality.
For example, a same-sex couple cannot access the assisted reproductive technology in Taiwan. They cannot adopt a child that is not biologically related to either of them. And cross-national couples, same-sex couple cannot get married if the foreign partner is from a country where same-sex marriage is not legalized.
These limitations curb family planning options in same-sex marriages. The threat here is not limited to LGBTQ rights. This is a serious human rights issue. In 1986, activist Ti Jiawei submitted a petition to a district court for the right to marry his boyfriend. He got back an official rejection saying, "Homosexuals are a minority of lustful perverts who act contrary to public order and good morals." Soon after, she was jailed on bogus robbery charges and sentenced to 5 years in prison, a common method to do away with political dissidents at the time. He served over 6 months before being released. Over the next 30 years, he would continue to advocate, submitting petitions and requests to the government numerous times. Then, in 2016, public demonstrations began calling for legal change after a high-profile suicide. Jacques Picot was a professor of French language and literature at the prestigious National Taiwan University. Picot's friends say he took his life because he was not allowed to make medical decisions for his Taiwanese partner of 35 years. Zheng Jintao had died of cancer the year before. Picot also had no legal right to inherit the home he shared with Zheng. Tragedies like this were common in Taiwan, caused by laws denying one group of humans their rights to family and security. Taiwan has made progress on fulfilling its promise of marriage equality since the special same-sex marriage law in 2019. After years of activism and pressure for legal change, the government began allowing transnational same-sex marriages in January of 2023.
This is a household registration office in Taiwan's capital, Taipei. Hundreds of people get married here every day. Now, for the first time, they can marry their same-sex partner, even if it is not legal in the country that partner is from. Sushang and Xiaoxin have been together for 9 years. As Sushang is from Malaysia, where same-sex marriage is not legal, they have been waiting 6 years to wed.
I'm so glad that even though we need to wait for so long time, my partner, my husband, is still willing to wait for me until this date. But actually, I often say I'm sorry to him that I made you cannot be married for such a long time.
Now, only same-sex marriages involving Chinese nationals are not allowed.
In May of the same year, same-sex couples gained the right to jointly adopt biologically unrelated children. But limits still exist. Same-sex couples are barred from accessing assisted reproductive technology like in vitro fertilization, or IVF. So why did Taiwan create an unequal marriage law? In a word, politics. In 2017, Taiwan's constitutional court ruled that the ban on same-sex marriage was unconstitutional. It gave the government 2 years to make a new law or amend Taiwan's civil code. That law governs marriage in the country, and it states that marriage is a union between a man and a woman. The government held referendums on same-sex marriage during the 2018 midterm elections. Conservative groups put forth a referendum asking the public if they want to keep the language in the civil code unchanged. LGBTQ rights organizations countered this with a referendum proposing the code be changed to allow same-sex marriage. In the end, the conservative-backed proposal won out. But the government still needed to follow the court's order, so it was left with one option: create a new law for same-sex marriage, the law we have today. LGBTQ activists are still fighting for access to assisted reproductive technologies, the next hurdle in achieving full equality. It's a fight that reflects a historical truth: separate treatment is not equal treatment.